Hello, hello, hello. Hello, all my fine aviation enthusiast friends. Welcome to the airplane show. We're gonna try some stuff tonight, that's for sure. Got this new Xbox, borrowing my son's capture card. We're gonna try it, see how all this stuff does. That's right. I'm trying to get a couple of more things set up real quick before we get into it. Just bear with me while I get the rest of this set up. This whole streaming thing is new for me. Bear with me while I get the rest of this set up. This whole streaming thing is new for me. Wonder why my chat's disabled. I mean, not that really anybody's watching anyways, but you know. Oh, here we go, chat. Duh. All right, so here's what we gonna do. Here's what we gonna do on this here flight. So I live on the East Coast, so it's about 9 o'clock. I don't want to do a flight at night because you really can't see the airplane at nighttime in Microsoft Simulator. It's like it's really dark. It's really really dark. So we're gonna do a flight over in Australia with this new PD. I think it's PDMG. I think is how you. I think that's what the kids call it. PDMG. This 737. Let me show you the flight. So here's what we're gonna do. This flight VOZ 812 from Sydney, Australia, Gate 36, Melbourne, Australia. This is the flight right here. Now, typically, what I'll do when I first look at a flight, see if I'm going to do it, I zoom all the way in and check out the runway and see what runway it's leaving from, and then I try to do the same thing for the landing as well. Well, you can see here it's a 737-800 Virgin Australia Velocity. Now, it topped off around 30,000 feet. I'm going to go up a little bit higher than that. I'm going to go with whatever the FMS recommends probably. There's got to be some reason why in real life it topped off at 30,000 feet. But here's the flight. I kind of recreated it the best that I saw. So I go to SimBrief first, and I plug in all the details in SimBrief, and then I click Generate Flight, and then there's an Import button. Here, I'll just show you. So you go to Import Flight, and click on Import from SimBrief, and it'll bring up all the ones you created recently. Just click on the one you want, and then the route is pretty much set. Only thing you typically would have to do is just pick the approach that you want to do. Today we're going to do an ILS approach. There is a VNAV approach, an RNAV approach, but it's really the same as the ILS, so we're just going to do the ILS today. One thing I do like about SimBrief that they changed recently, well, a couple of things. You can click on here, and this brings up the whole flight plan, what we're going to input into the FMS today, which is pretty cool. The fuel, all the different estimates for the weight, the passengers, the cargo. It even gives what we're going to input in for our altitude and wind under the forecast for our descent. I'm not going to do it from the Xbox here. I have it the Navigraph set up on my iPad. So I'm going to be doing it from there. But one thing I think is really cool with, if you go, so you click on here and you go to info, it brings up all the info for the runway. Now these dimensions, 7,500 feet and 407 for the elevation, we're going to input that into the heads-up display in the plane sometime during the cruise. That way we have the right info for the reticle to show up when we're doing our landing. Even has the slope and the bearing. Another thing that's pretty cool, if you're into trying to make it as real life as you can, if you click on here, it gives you all the METAR information. So right now the barometric pressure is 1011. So we'd have to adjust that down a little bit. It's even got the winds, gusting to 33 knots. Wow, that's a lot. So that's cool. And then you also have all the different charts as well that go with the standard terminal arrival, the standard instrument departure. You can just click on it and it brings it up, and it's got it all right here. So I like using Navigraph. SkyVector I like a lot too, but it doesn't really do flights outside of the U.S. for some reason. I mean, maybe you can pay for it. I don't pay for it, but maybe you could pay for it and do it for outside the United States, but that's not me. I think paying for Navigraph is more than enough. Alright, so let's go here. Now, I was playing with this earlier, so I'm already at the Sydney airport. And I believe I already have the correct livery chosen. Yeah, the Virgin Australia. Alright, so we good there, and now we got to go to gate 36, which is right around here. And then what we're going to do when we get into the airplane, so gate 36 is right there. So once we get in the airplane, we'll come out, we'll go this way, we'll cross, we'll go to the end here, and then we'll go down this little side ramp here until the very end and pick up that runway, because we're taking off from 25. Is it 25 or 34? Yeah, 34 right is what we're taking off on today, so that's the wrong gate. Where's gate 36? Hello. Hello. Oh, there's the gates. Oh, I'm in the wrong spot. 38, 34, 36. There we go. Okay, now we good. And by the way, for flight conditions, I have set up for like whatever the weather is in real life. That's how I have it set up. I should probably check all that again, because I think I have the traffic automated. I don't want to fly with real life airplanes. Sometimes it, well, at least when I was streaming it on the iPad, well, not streaming it, but when I was recording it on the iPad, it sometimes wouldn't, like it would get really, like it would lag and get real glitchy because of all the data that was streaming. So let's go to there first and check that stuff. Here we are, Virgin Australia. We have the cart connected for ground power already. I have that programmed already to do that. We're going to get rid of these stairs here momentarily and have the walkway connect. So let's go to general options, the data. All right, photogrammetry is on. That's making the city buildings right size. Yeah, real world air traffic is off. Okay, and live weather is on. Okay, very good. Okay, so first thing we got to do in this airplane, hopefully it works this time. It didn't work earlier. We got to go to menu and hold it in. There we go. It didn't work earlier. and I was freaking out because I was like, why is it working on the iPad? It's not working here. I had a setting messed up. So here's what we're going to do first. We're going to go to, actually, let me try using my mouse. It's kind of new. Ooh, look at that, mouse power. All right, so we're going to go to Actions. We're going to go to Fuel. And, oh yeah, let me bring up the, how much fuel we need on this flight here. So it says we need like 8,200. I always put a little bit more fuel in than I really need, but right now we're just going to put in 5,000. So let's put 5,000 for now because we're going to have the fuel truck come by. So we got 5,000 for now. You can click return. You go to payload and set empty. Now all the passengers are gone and the cargo's gone. All that stuff is gone. With this, oh yeah, and let me disconnect the stairs first. With this particular plane, if you wind up getting it, there's two really good PDFs you can download. One's a tutorial, like flight, and one's an introduction. But if you go under PMDG setup, under startup state, you can actually program like how you want the airplane to start. So I have cold and dark with the ground power unit connected already, but you can do, you know, approach, apron, I don't know, apron long maybe is climb, cold and dark without the GPU part, you know, final, you know, approach, hangar, runway. So you can pretty much have it set up to start wherever you want it. Since we're doing a new flight, we're going to do cold and dark. So, and then if you need to get into the actual FMC, you just click FMC, and that'll bring you there. It's not going to do it now because we don't have the airplane turned on. All right, so let's go back to, oops, let's go to this, and, oh, wrong thing, sorry. It's been about a week since I played this. All right, go here, let's release the stairs, because we're gonna have the jetway come by. And let's change this to jetway. Oops, nope, jetway. There we go, okay. All right, let's click return. All right, so let's actually turn on the airplane. So we're gonna go up here. And we're gonna click this. Oh yeah, that's closed already. All right, that's closed. And then we're gonna turn on ground power unit. Now that's on. You can hear it running. Let's turn on the emergency light, or arm the emergency lights. And let's put on the anti-collision lights. Very good, alrighty. So that's all done. Now, what we're going to do now is turn on, actually let's start getting the trucks and stuff rolling before we turn on the, the navigation systems and all that. Let's go to actions. Alright, so we are going to open this front door. And we are going to go up here to LS left side 8 and click request jetway, and you can see it's being brought over to us. Alright, so now that's connected. And according to SimBrief, we're going to have 160 passengers. Actually, I like doing it this way while I still can use this cursor. So for some reason with this simulator. I don't know why. But with this airplane and the A310, whenever you have this mode up with, all the different options up top there, for some reason it like disconnects the autopilot, and like it I don't know, it's weird. Like the plane starts like flying really weird, and it took me a while to realize that when I first started flying the A310. I couldn't understand why like autopilot wasn't working, it wasn't following my navigation, and I had no idea it was because I had this mode set up to where like this big cursor is. So if you get rid of it, then it does what it's supposed to do. So all right, so we got to type in 160. So for some reason you have to tap on these buttons twice. Like choose it and then click on it. It's weird. I don't know why. All right, we're gonna go here. And now we have this green start, so now we can start loading passengers. And now what we're going to do here is, let's see here, so it's 4.2 is the cargo. So what we're going to do is, let's do 1,000 up front. It's always less cargo up front. 1,000 up front and 3,200 in the back. 3,200. Alright, let's do that. And now we have to request the vehicle, so let's request that. Request that. Request that. And request that. Now you don't have to do all this, by the way. You can actually just go to like the opening screen of the FMS and plug it all in from there if you don't want to have all the different vehicles come by, but I kind of like it. All right, I'm going to put in more fuel than we need, so I'm going to do 9,800. Just a little bit more fuel than what we need. I mean, you can refuel mid-flight with the simulator, but, All right, so now we need to request the fuel truck. And now everybody should be starting to come by. Here we go. So we got the little trucks with the ramps. Fuel truck should be coming by. There's the fuel truck. Got a little guy walking. What's up, buddy? Oops. Looks like you hit an invisible wall. Alright, here comes the first truck with the bags. Alright, so now that's good. So what I was saying about going from like the beginning screen, so what you can actually do is you can just go to like these individual screens and just type in what you want. Like fuel, you could type it in there. And then payload, you can type it all in here on this side what you want. And then what you would do is you would go back to this screen here, go to actions. Oh, sorry. Go to setup. No, I'm a idiot. Hang on a second. I confuse myself sometimes. Go to ground services, my bad. Under actions, go to ground services, and then you just type in what you want. So like if we wanted 9,800 pounds of fuel, since it's already typed in that other screen, it would say 9,800 here. You would just type in the 9,800 there. Now we can start because the truck's here. So now we're going to get the right amount of fuel. And we got 48, 49 people on board. We can start there. Let's go over here and go to FMC, because we're going to get our flight. We're going to start typing everything in here momentarily as soon as we can click start here. So it's connecting. It's connecting. And start. There we go. Okay. So that's all good. I'm guessing I can hear myself. Let me put on my actual stream real quick and see if I can hear myself. I hope I can. I've been talking this whole time. Oh yeah, I can hear myself. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Maybe I'll turn it up just a little bit. But okay. Alright, let's go back to Navigraph on my iPad. Let me turn this volume up just a little bit until it gets close to peaking. Alright, so here we go. So let's go set up the flight, the IRS. So what we're going to do first is go up here. Now when I move these things, usually I'm using the triggers. I like using the triggers instead. We're going to put it on heading / STS, whatever that means. And then we're going to go up here. We're going to go to nav. And then we're going to go to nav also. And now we're just going to kind of wait. You know, we're not going to plug in the flight plan yet. If you want to, you can actually type in the airport if you want to. I mean, it's really not necessary to type it in under position, but you know, let's just do it anyways. So we got YSSY. Oops. So let me use the mouse for this and see if the mouse is easier. Okay, so we got SS, Y, go up here, reference, oh, this one here. Let's type in 36, I don't think it'll take. Most of the time it doesn't accept the gate. Yeah, not in database. I wonder if it'll take like E space 36. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. Alright. So, and now what we do is, there we go, that's a little better. Alright, so what we do from here is, let me get this mouse going. Using a mouse on this is a little bit different. I'm used to just using a controller. So we're going to go to next page. We're going to click on GPS left, go back a screen, click on this position here, and now we are all set. You just saw the dial here. Switch around, you do a little switcheroo. And there's nothing we need on page 3 right now. It's just, you know. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. Is go up to route. We already have Sydney, so we're going to do that. And we are flying the YMML, so YMML. Got that. It's VOZ 812, so VOZ 812. Alright, so that's all done, right? Now we're going to go to depart. Let's pick our departure. We are leaving from runway 34 right. 34 right. And we are doing this. And we have the WOL transition. So now we got that chose. Let's go to route. Let's go to, we're not going to activate it just yet. We're going to go here. Now, let me go back. Oh, you know what? I think I can type it in. Do they have the route listed? Ah, they do have it listed on this printout. Okay, so Highway 65, H65. Go up here. No, invalid. Oh, yeah. Will be okay. Well, it's not taking it. It's not taking my highway. All right, let's type in Razzie then. It's not. It's probably not taking it because it says WOLNB and it's not showing WOL like the VOR like it's supposed to in order to pick up that highway in the sky. So, all right, we'll do Razzie, R-A-Z-Z-I. And go up here. Now let's type in Q29. Q29. There we go. And type in Lizzie, L-I-Z-Z-I. One thing with using the mouse, you only have to click each button once. For some reason with the controller, you have to click each button twice, but here you just have to click it once. Alright, we got Lizzie. And that's actually what we're going to go down to Deep Heart Arrival. Let's click our Arrival. And we are doing the ILS-Z for runway 27. I didn't really see a difference between Z and Y, but I went with Z because that's usually, from what I've seen for, these type of planes. Alright, so we got that. And business is SAS. Yep. And we got Lizzie 9A. Lizzie 8A is close enough, I guess. And no transition. Okay, let's go to route. Approach, transition, visa. Alright, let's go to activate. Let's go to this. And let's go to legs. Alright, so we got Razzie, we got the highway, visa. Okay, let's go to cruise and type in our cruising altitude. Now, according to this, we should be at 36,000 feet. I believe is what it said. Yeah, 36,000. We can type it in. I usually like doing a little bit lower than what this suggests, but let's do 30. Well, we'll try 36,000. Let's see what happens. See if it actually calculates it. Alright, well, we'll leave that. Is there anything that I need to take out? Yeah, 10,000 will be Lizzie. Let me look at the departure. Okay, we got that. So after passing 10,000 feet, turn right. So 10,000 towards Wool and B. Let's get rid of that and see what happens. Alright, now we got all that done. Let's go and type in our descent winds and altitudes. So let me get to the right screen here. Alright, so we got, let's do 31,000, 20,000, and 10,000. So 310. Right? 310, 200. And 100, 100. Where's the other zero? There it is. Okay. Alright, so 31,000 feet, it is 280 and then 78. So 280, 78, 20,000 is 286.65, 286.65, and 295.65. All right, 295. 65. All right. So that's all done. You can request the winds, but for some reason, like, it's not. Well, you know what? I haven't tried it in this airplane. You can request like a data link to be synced up with this. I didn't do it for some reason here. I haven't tried it yet. I couldn't do it on the iPad, but I don't know. Maybe you can do it here. All right. Let's see if everything is done, so we can send our weights over to the other side. Okay. So we can release the carts. We can release all that. Alright, fuel truck is done. We can release the fuel truck. And when our plane is full, we can release the jetway. So we'll let all this stuff go back. We'll finish setting up the FMS, then we'll turn on the APU, push ourselves back, and then start taxiing over to the runway. I think I have to close the door. Yep, gotta close the door. Vador, Vador. Alright, go back. Go to doors. Close. And we'll just sit here on this. We'll leave this here on this pushback screen here. Okay. So now that's all done. Now what we're going to do is go to init. Oh yeah, let's put in our cruise winds first. 284.54. Alright, so 284. And all this info that I've been putting in for the forecast and the winds, that's all on that data printout thing from, I don't know what it's called, but it's, oh yeah, the OFP, I guess is what it's called. But it's that printout I showed you in the beginning from SimBrief. It has all this info in there. Alright, so that, and remember, I'm not a real pilot. I just mess around with this stuff online, so I'm probably going to get some of this stuff wrong, but it's okay. If I'm wrong, I'm sure somebody can correct me. Alright, so we're going to request. We're going to wait for that to finish up. And it'll say over here in a moment that it was brought over. There we go. Now we can click load. Click execute. Using reserve fuel. See, didn't have enough fuel. Okay, so our plan was for 80. Let's see here. Alright, so cost index is 30, so let's change that first. And our flight plan fuel is 8,200. So let's type in 8.2. Well, it says we're using insufficient fuel. Interesting. Reserves are 6.2. Okay, well, let's go get more fuel. We're gonna do it the other method I was telling you about. So watch. Now let's clear this message out first. Let's go to fuel. Fuel density 9801. Yeah, it's weird because the block fuel here says 8,200, and I'm like way over that. I wonder why it's saying that. All right, well let's put in we'll put in 12,000 pounds and see what happens. Or 12,000 kilograms actually. All right, gross weight. We're still way under. Let's put in 14,000. I'm not going to call for the fuel truck again. I'm going to show you. So you can type it in there. Go here. Go to ground services. Go to this page here. And just type in the 14,000 again. And voila. Now we have 14,000 pounds. So let's... So I think we're good now, right? It already updated it here. That's excellent. That's really cool that it does that. Okay, so we got that. Let's go to... So currently it's 32 degrees outside. Wow, that's pretty hot. So we're going to do 30 degrees higher than that. So we're going to do 62. Alright, we got that for one. Let's do takeoff one. Alright, Yeah, I guess take off 1, climb 2 is okay. Let's see what climb 1 looks like. Yeah, there's no difference. Alright, well let's do that then. Alright, take off. Alright, so what I like to do first is go to the page 2 and put in the slope and the runway wind. That's what I showed you in the very beginning. So we can click on information on the runway. The slope is 0. Put that in there. And the runway wind would be 320 degrees and 22. Alright, so 320. And 22. We're going to have to adjust the V speeds before we take off. Again, at least that's what's happened to me every time. Every time it asks me to do it again, so oops. Oh yeah, I wonder what our transition is. Our transition altitude in Australia. We'll have to take a look at that here. Alright, so we can type in 5 for flaps. We got a pretty long runway. Let's put in our CG balance. Now I've tried adjusting the trim manually, but for some reason it doesn't really let you go past 4 for some reason. So, oh, by the way, I leave QNH on, QRH for the barometric pressure, but yeah, so our trim's supposed to be 4.58. I can't ever really like get it to go like higher than, see, like it just doesn't want to go. So whatever. Not that it really matters anyways, I guess, but alright, so we got that. That's all done. Let me see. Fix, no fix. We're not going to do a fix on the takeoff. Well, actually, let me look at the map. Do we need a fix on the takeoff? No, there's no fix on the takeoff. Okay. Alright, so no fix on the takeoff. That's all good. What am I looking at here? Okay. Oh yeah, what is the QNH is 1011. So we're going to go here. We're going to change this. And we're going to change that to 1011. Alright, so now what we're going to do now is let's turn on the APU. Actually, let's do this first. Tell our passengers it's time to lock up. Oh yeah, what was I looking up before? Shoot. Man, I'm such an idiot. It's late. It's getting late and I'm getting tired. Alright, so 36,000. Let's just plug that in now. Alright, so let's do first thing first. Let's get a little fuel action. Let's get a little APU action going. I love lights. Let's turn our lights. Yep. Even though it's daytime, gotta have lights. Alright, let's turn the outboard one down a little bit because that's always super bright. That's really the only light that I like to turn down. Other than that, I usually turn everything way up. Alright, background. Turn on the floodlight. Main panel. Yep. And outboard will turn down a little bit. The reason I turn it down, it's really tough to see the flight director on there when it's what's it called? When it's at its like max. Whoa, 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 whoa! What is it doing? That's not what I wanted it to do. All right, let's go. Wow, that is really touchy. Okay. Jesus. I'm not used to using a mouse on that thing. That thing is really touchy. Good lord. Alright, is this on yet? Yep, it's on. Alright, so let's click this, click that, we're going to click this. So now the APU is on. Now we can disengage the cart and get ready for pushback. So let's release this. That's disconnecting. We're pretty much ready for takeoff here. Alright, cart's gone. So here's what we can do now is let's get our pushback going. So what we're going to do is we need to select a tug. And standard L is correct, and turn nose to the right, I believe, is correct. I always get confused because it's like it's backwards. All right, let's give it a try. I think this is the correct way. Oh yeah, hang on. Let's turn on the hydraulics first, so we can. Let's turn the rest of the hydraulics because that way it'll be able to turn. If you don't have the hydraulics on, it makes it really almost impossible for the tug to turn.
Cockpit to ground. Go ahead.
And let's make sure the parking brake is off.
For pushback and start, they want the tail to our left.
Turn on panel brightness, turn on some floodlights. Hey, where is the heads-up display? Oh, did I not turn it on? God, I'm such an idiot. Did I really not turn it on? Yep, I turned. I thought it would have saved from. I thought it would have saved. Oh well. Alright, so no heads-up display this time around. I'll make sure we have it next time. And we're going the wrong way. Alright, let's stop. I always do this. I always go the wrong way. Alright, let's have it pull us forward. Dot the I. Start.
Cockpit to ground.
I thought all my settings from playing on the iPad, I thought they all would have carried over. I mean, it carried over like everything else.
Brakes.
Come on, let's go. Pull my airplane. I don't think the brakes are on. Are the brakes on? Nope.
Brakes released.
Dude, you're supposed to pull the airplane. Well, let's just see what happens. Let's see what happens. Alright, let's stop this. Let's see what cross the T does.
Cockpit to ground.
When I was reading the instructions, it said that those two options would actually pull the airplane. It's not push it. Maybe they wrote something down wrong. Well, I'm not making a very good first impression with this game, am I? Told you I'm not a real pilot. Oh, what you gonna do? Nope, still pushing me back. Alright, let's just stop. And we'll just make a turn. Alright, chocks are removed. That's good. Alright, let's just fire up the engines anyways and see if we can just make this turn. Let's put our brake on. Alright, let's do this. Let's turn on. See, here's the heads-up display here, though, so why isn't the... Oh, did it put it? Oh, that's cool. I didn't know it would do that. I thought I'd have to restart the sim for it to put the heads-up display in there. This thing down here is where you control what you see in the heads-up display and then also plug in the runway information. Alright, let's turn on the other fuel tanks. Nothing in the center. Alright. And that. Okay, let's fire up some engines. Alright, let's turn on some fuel. Okay, that's good. Let's do this. That's good. Let's turn off that bleed. Let's set that to auto. And we can turn off the APU. Let's set these to continuous. Let's turn on some lights. That light, that light, and that light for now. Alright, everything else is good. Let's put our flaps down to 5. Verify takeoff speeds again, yep. 7, 8, and 9. So V2 is going to be 158. So let's plug in 158. Flight director, 158. Alright, legs. 10,000. So we can set the first one for, let's say, 10.5. No, we'll just say 10.6. And our runway is, what's the bearing for the runway here? 335. So let's type it 335 here. Alright, very good. Alright, let's see if we can actually make this turn. Hold me tight. I like how the controller vibrates when you start giving it more juice. No, maybe we can make it. I always get those pushbacks from it. And I get confused on like if it says right, if it's like looking from the tail forward and it means right like there, or if it means right from like standing at the nose looking back like I should probably know this since I, play these games all the time, but I don't I don't know it. Alright, we're gonna be okay. Let me pull up this runway diagram here in Navigraph. Airport diagram, so I know where to go. We need to go up C and take C or B all the way up. Watch out, truck. No! Oh, you stopped at exactly the wrong place, truck. Alright, I don't think there's any letters on that. But I have no idea if that's C or B or... See, there's no letters. Oh, there's letters on that up there. Let's see. There should be letters on those yellow placards, though. Alright, I know this is like runway 25. Oh, this is D. Oh yeah, okay. Well, we're gonna be riding on the runway for a minute. Oops. Oops. We're gonna make a U-turn. I've never been to this airport before, so I am thoroughly lost. Hey, make sure you leave really good reviews for this video. That I did an excellent job and I didn't mess up at all. That'll really help me out. Thank you. Leave a thumbs up. Greg was awesome. He didn't make any wrong turns at all. He's the best internet pilot ever in the history of internet pilots. Alright, so obviously I made a wrong turn. So I'm just going to turn around. Now you can choose different setups for the steering on the ground. You can choose the tiller and the rudder. I just have it on the rudder. I tried tiller and rudder, and for some reason, no, I haven't tried it on the Xbox. when I was doing just the iPad, it wasn't turning at all with the tiller and the rudder together, so. Alright, so that was D. So if that yellow thing had a flacker on it before, I would have been able to tell if that was D, C, D. So we need to go to C or B and then make a left. And we're going to take that all the way until it ends at either S or L. And then we're going to make a right. Passengers, we're going to need to refuel again before we take off. Now that we're taking you on this wonderful tour of the Sydney, Australia airport. Should we make the same turn again? Oh yeah, I didn't check the what altitude I need to be at for transitions in Australia. FL26. Transition altitude is 10,000 on the takeoff. Oh, it says it there. There's G. What does it say on the landing the transition is? Transition is 11,000 on the landing. So, okay. So now we'll worry about that later. Let's not crash. But we'll remember at 10,000 feet is when we got to do it on the. All right, let's go back to the airport map that I have here. So that's G, G, E. Alright, well we are heading in the right direction at least. Does that say Botany Bay? Oh, Botany Bay. I remember that Botany Bay from The Hateful Eight. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, The Hateful Eight. I know I should be stopping here and making sure there's no traffic, but it's okay. It's just a simulator. Yeah, when the girl, Daisy, I think is her name in the movie, she's playing that guitar and she's singing about Botany Bay. Of course, she tells old John Ruth she's gonna murder him, and John Ruth breaks this expensive ass guitar. They were supposed to have a prop guitar, and in the movie when she's playing the song, she's playing this really like one of a kind, like really rare acoustic guitar, and they were supposed to switch it out, and then when John Ruth gets mad and breaks the guitar, they were supposed to have a prop in there. Well, I guess they never switched it, or something happened, and he wound up grabbing the really expensive, like collector item, one of a kind guitar, and wound up breaking it to just destroyed it. It'll never again be a functioning guitar. I thought that was pretty fun. Like you can kind of see her reaction in the movie is not like a reaction like a movie reaction. It's like whoa, I'm pushing the wrong button. thinks I'm talking. Anyways, it's pretty fun. Alright, I think we are heading in the right direction now. I certainly hope so. Or not. Symbol right there, tell you what it is. By and by, I'll break my chain. Where I'll go, you'll be dead behind me, John. When I get to Mexico, I think I've seen The Hateful Eight. I don't know how many, maybe close to 1,000 times. There's one point where I watched it like every day for like a long time. Alright, we're doing okay. Yeah, let's make this left here. I don't know why my plane keeps on tracking to the left. It needs a front end alignment, I guess. Alright, here we go. That's weird, it keeps on tracking to the left like that. I hope it's not going to do that like during the flight. That's cool how the water moves. I was playing a construction simulator the other day on PlayStation 4, and they have water in that game too, like bays of water like this is, where you're building marinas, hotels, and stuff like that, and the water is just like, it's like cement. It actually kind of looks like cement too. It's kind of grayish, like grayish blue. It doesn't move. But man, you guys couldn't just write like another couple of lines of code to have water that moves just a little bit. I have no idea why this thing keeps on tracking to the left like that. That is crazy. Yeah, there we go. Push the stick, and now it's fine. That's weird. A little bit of a learning curve with this Xbox, that's for sure. The first Xbox I really had for like a long time. Like, I had my PlayStation for probably 10 years, something like that. I played a little bit of Xbox here and there, but there we go. Okay, now it's programmed. Now it's programmed. Alright, we are almost ready to take off. Now that we've used up, 0.6, I don't know what that is, kilograms maybe? It's not pounds. I guess it's kilograms. If we were flying in America, I probably would have had it on pounds. But there was no flights really. I was trying to do a Southwest flight, but there was no real, like I wanted to do one of the airports that was like hand done by the Microsoft team, and LAX and Dallas would have been pretty good to choose from, but it was starting to get dark by the time I was ready to do this, and I really didn't want to fly for the first time doing this in the dark, just because you can't see the airplane at all at night. The inside looks really cool. And it looks really cool, like when you're flying over cities and when you're landing. I mean, a lot of it looks really cool, but man, it is like you cannot see them. You cannot see them. At least on the iPads, you really couldn't see the plane at night. It was terrible. You could barely see the lights flashing. So when we take off, what I'm gonna do is on the D-pad, you can push the right to the right on the D-pad. That'll retract the landing gear. And then I'm gonna have everything pretty much set as much as I can. Take off. You can just push the Y button on here, or if you're playing, Game Pass on a tablet with a PlayStation controller, it would be the triangle button, and that'll turn on the autopilot. And after that, we got to go the landing gear and lock it. We got to turn the packs on. We got to turn the continuous ignition off for the engines. We got to set the flaps. I wonder if, like, I guess this did happen in real life because that's what we're doing, but it's a long way for a plane to taxi. Jesus. It's cool though. I think it's really cool how, like, you're just surrounded by water. It's like that, almost like San Francisco, but just, like, way cooler. And not as many homeless people. Why does he true air? What's my ground speed? Ground speed is 22. Alright. That makes sense, I guess. One thing that I found a little strange with this, so there's a toga button you can push in here, and it's I'll show you when we stop. But it's like this. There's a screw over there on the bottom left of the autopilot stack, and you have to like click on that screw, and that'll turn on the takeoff go around mode for the engines. Hey, look where we are. Still to set the brakes as well. Maybe I'll turn down the heads-up display also. Alright, let me check the pressure one more time before we take off. Let's set that. Let me check the barometric pressure one more time. So now it's down to Q1010. So actually, let's use the mouse. Alright, did that change it everywhere? Sure did. Alright, so let's go here. Let's do that. And alright, that's all done. And what's our landing altitude? Is just say 450. Alright, I think we're all set for a takeoff. All dampeners on. Alright, let's put this down. Let's turn that up as high as it goes. Alright, let's turn on automatic. Come on. No? No LNAV, VNAV? Alright. No problem. Is it both flight directors on? Maybe that's why. Yep, that was it. Both flight directors were not on. Alright, now we are ready. So let's release the parking brake. Let's lower that down. Let's give it some juice. Yeah, the toga button's right here. You gotta click on that. I don't have the traffic on because it's kind of pointless, just a simulator. And we're not playing multiplayer or anything like that. And I do not have the weather on because weather is not modeled at this point from PMDG with this airplane, at least from what I've read. I haven't been able to get it to work. I mean, I could turn it on, but nothing shows up on the map. There are some planes, though, in the simulator that you can do weather with, but this is not one of them. I think the Diamond Air 42 or Diamond Air 40 and the Diamond Air 62, I believe those have actual like live weather maps on it. Alright, here we go. Give it a little bit of juice. And now we click toga with the mouse. Now we are Gucci, as they say. As my daughter would say, we're Gucci.
80 knots.
Push forward on the yaw stick. And we're getting ready to take off.
Rotate. Positive rate of climb.
Positive rate. Gear up. Start making our turn. Make sure we don't turn too much. Alright, flaps up. Let's turn on the autopilot. Alright, autopilot is on. Let's lock the landing gear. Alright, well that didn't work. Let's do it the old-fashioned way. Put the heads-up display up now. Alright. We're still good with our flap setting. Let's move this out a little bit. Alright, now we can move our flaps up again. And we can move them up one more time, and that should be it. Flaps, yep. Flap 0. Flap 0. We can move this. Alright, very good. So we're doing good so far. N1, LNAV, VNAV, that's all programmed. Alright. We're on our way to Brisbane. On our way to Brisbane. Alright, let's program our next altitude. 28.1. Oh, I gotta turn on the packs. Shoot. Otherwise, we're gonna have a problem in the cabin. It's not gonna be pressurized correctly. Good. Guess it's close enough we can turn off the lights. My mouse died. I think my mouse died. Oh, there it is. Whoa, what was that? That was weird. No.
Bank angle. Bank angle. Bank angle.
What the hell happened? That was weird. Why did it turn off? Let's see if we can save this. Alright. That was weird. I wonder why that turned off like that. Autopilot turned off. That was weird. Alright, why is the speed all messed up now? Let's do altitude hold for a minute. Let's get back up to speed. Oh, no way.
Bank angle. Airspeed low. Airspeed low.
Okay, good. Why is this plane acting so weird? Why is this plane acting so strange? Let me turn the mouse off. Maybe the mouse is messing this up.
Bank angle. Bank angle.
Alright,
Bank
mouse is
angle.
off. no idea. I've never had this happen on a simulator before, where then autopilot was doing okay, then it just stops working. All right, let's try this again. I wonder if the mouse has something to do with it. Maybe I was clicking something on the mouse or doing something with the mouse that I shouldn't have been doing. I've never used the mouse before. That was really weird. Just flying, and all of a sudden it just... Oh, I gotta put the standard pressure in. That was really weird. I've never had that happen before. I was just trying to use the mouse to click on some things. Maybe the mouse like disconnected the autopilot somehow. Using reserve fuel. Why is my fuel going down so quick? Alright, well we can fix that. Let's put more fuel in. Let's go to menu. Because we can do that. We can put in more fuel. Oh, wrong thing. This is a really bad, like, sloppy stream so far for me. Usually, you see my videos, like, usually they're really, like, kind of uneventful. Like, this kind of stuff, like, doesn't happen. But, it's weird. I probably should have did some practice flights before I actually, like... Probably should have done some practice flights before I decided to do this and stream it, but whatever. We all start somewhere. Alright, so that's good. But why is this thing like bouncing side to side? That is crazy. Now it's really windy. I think the yaw is on, right? Yep, the yaw is on. Never flown in Australia before. Maybe it's just really windy in Australia. Oh wow, look at that, 42 knots. No wonder. Jeez. Been a hell of a first stream. Go down the wrong runway, right on the grass. Run out of fuel. Autopilot disconnects by itself a few times. Try to use a mouse, can't use a mouse. this wind doesn't kick off the autopilot. I think if the wind kicks off the autopilot, we might just call it because it's getting late, and I don't really want to start another stream this time of night. If the autopilot kicks off because it's windy, that again would be another first. So this is like a historic stream for me. It's my first stream with doing it with a capture card and OBS. 45 years old, and this is the first time I've done this. So that's a first. First with the autopilot kicking off a few times on its own. And the first with wind turning off the autopilot. Hopefully that won't happen. But I very much would like to land this plane safely at our destination in Melbourne. Things are okay so far, so. Alright, well while that's doing that, let's plug in our runway info for the. So let's go down here. You're going to want to click on runway. I'm not using the mouse anymore, by the way, so it might take just a little bit longer to do because this little reticle only goes so far. Like, it's not a huge range that you can move it. Alright, so we're going to do 407. That's the elevation. Hit enter. Let's go up the runway again. And now we're going to put in the distance, so it's 7,500 is the number you got to put in here. And then enter. And now that is all programmed. So now we have the correct elevation, length. The mode we're going to do is not primary. We're going to do that mode. Just like this. We're going to leave this mode here for the landing. Alright, the plane has settled down. It's not flip-flopping side to side anymore. Very good. Alright. I know this is a little premature to do, but let me program the frequencies in too right now. So 109.3. Because for ILS in this plane, both have to be the same frequency, 109.3. I'm not going to activate them yet. I'm just going to program them. 109.3. Alright, those are programmed, and we got to be at 263 is the course, so let's program that in. So both of these have to be programmed also for the same thing. And I don't think we need to create a waypoint. Yeah, there's no reason to create a waypoint. So sometimes when you're doing ILS landings, or RNet, well, mainly ILS, from what I understand, sometimes it's good to create like another waypoint that's like 4 or 5 miles farther out. And we don't need to do that. If we were in a holding pattern and then like flying a few miles and then making a turn towards the runway, that would probably be a good thing to do, to create a waypoint. but we don't need to do that with this because we're pretty much flying straight in. It's a pretty straightforward ILS landing from what it looks like. As we're going to hit mate around 5,000 feet, then end them, and then visa at 185 knots, and that's the initial fix. Yeah, that's the initial fix, and that is 256, about 7 miles out. And then once we're 6.9 miles out, I'm sorry, when we're 4 miles out from the runway, that's when we're supposed to actually capture the glide scope. So we'll see. We may wind up capturing it before then, but all right, things are looking okay. But the graphics are certainly a lot better on this than the iPad. So I'm running this on the Xbox Series S. I actually wound up buying this by accident. So I was doing a telehealth appointment the other night, and I was playing around on the website. I saw where PayPal has a program where you can like pay it out over 4 payments. I thought that's what it was, so I clicked checkout to see what the payments would come out to be. And the next thing I know, the screen says, "Congratulations! Here's your purchase, summary." And I'm like, "Oh no!" I really wasn't trying to spend the money. I was just looking into it because I really didn't want to buy an Xbox. The only reason I'm buying it is so I can play this simulator. This simulator, or one equivalent to it, was available on PlayStation. I would have never have bought this. I also tried to do the Xbox Game Pass on the PlayStation using the PlayStation browser, but it wouldn't allow me to do it. Go figure. I tried to play Xbox games on PlayStation, but it wouldn't let me do it. Decision type is 203. We can program that in a little bit later. Alright, so we're pretty much at the cruising altitude. I guess I can turn the fake seatbelts off. You are now free to move around the cabin. Alright, Barrow's at 2 of... Well, that's close enough, but let's see if we can make it exact. I was really hoping to be able to use a mouse on this, but I'm scared to use the... At least I'm scared to use the mouse tonight. I'll play with it a little bit, see what I can figure out, see if that really did have anything to do with the navigation, the autopilot and stuff turning off, but okay. So we got 165 miles to our touchdown. I've been doing a lot of flights actually recently, doing like RNAV approaches. That is really cool, like programming the right RNP number and then descending at certain altitudes at a certain time. It was pretty cool, actually. I was thinking about doing the RNAV on this one, but the RNAV and the ILS are like exactly the same, and as far as like the distance with this, and it's pretty much the exact same landing with this particular approach and arrival. But I wanted to do, I guess I'll do an ILS for the first time. Now I know with this airplane, you have to have this showing up in order for it to like flare and roll out on its own. It's in the setup menu. If you go into menu and if you go under setup, I believe it's under aircraft and equipment. Yeah, so this auto land. Fail OP gives you the capability, I believe, of doing the flare and the rollout. And then if it's like flare fail, I believe is what it would say, the other option. That one does the flare, but I don't believe it does the rollout. So, but if you do wind up getting one of these 737s, these PM DG ones. Like I said, on their website, they have a really good instruction manual for this. It's like 70 pages long, and they have a tutorial flight as well as a manual that you can look at. So you know, there's a pretty good amount of material that you can resource to check things out. All right, let's bring this up. All right, so after takeoff, yeah, we got engine bleeds are on, packs are on auto, yet landing gear is up and off, flaps are up, okay, descent, pressurization, yeah, we already got the landing altitude. Yeah, check, auto brake, put that on 2 or 3. VREF and minimum, well, that's going to continually change. And approach briefing. Actually, we could probably set the check out the VREF now, I guess. Alright, and let's go to init. See, it's going to continually change a little bit because the gross weight's going to continue to change. But we can plug it in now, I guess. Where does it show the fuel left over? One of these shows the fuel like at the landing. Is it? Or was it in it? Actually, does it show it there? No. I've seen it on here before, but I forget where I saw it. Where it shows like the fuel that you should have when you. Oh yeah, fuel at. So why does it keep on telling me reserves when I was taking off? If it's telling me I'm gonna have 9.5 left when I get to Melbourne, that makes no sense. Landing gear. Flaps. Cool. Well, if you're enjoying this so far, I don't know if anybody's watching it or not because I only have a couple hundred subscribers. But if you're watching this, maybe leave a comment. Tell me how awesome it is. Give me an idea for another flight. If you'd like to see it. I have a bunch of liveries with this thing. We got Ryanair, we got American Airlines, KLM, Southwest, United, China Airlines, Malaysia, Swoop. I think we have Aero Italia. There's no Japanese airlines. I know that, or at least I don't have any at this point. I have 3 livery packs, I believe, is what I've bought so far. I mean, the plane was expensive enough. The plane was $70, but I wanted another plane where I could pretty much operate everything besides the A310. The A310 is okay, but it's a little cumbersome sometimes, some of the equipment. And I like the 737. So, I wanted to have a plane that is still really being used in real life. If you've seen my videos, I try to mirror the flights from real life. I try to do the same routes, same gate departure when I can, everything. I think it's pretty cool to do, so that's why I do it. Aerofly, you really can't do it too often, just because you can't choose a gate with Aerofly. You can't. There's no service trucks like they have in X-Plane. Even Real Flight Simulator has it. Aerofly's cool. I mean, I like Aerofly a lot, but they don't really seem to change much year over year. It seems like it'd be cool if they had like an A350, if they had like an up-to-date 737. You know, if they had a couple more, like they had like the Cirrus SR-22 single prop plane, you know, maybe a Diamond aircraft plane, maybe an A330. You know, but it's been the same planes for years. The new helicopter is pretty cool. The Black Hawk helicopter is alright, but the iPad that I have, I really can't use that helicopter anywhere other than like San Diego. I can fly a little bit around San Diego. Other than that, it crashes. Like as soon as I'll choose the helicopter. I'll choose the location where I want to start. I go into the sim to actually start it, and as soon as it like it says calibration, if I'm not using a joystick, as soon as it shows the helicopter on the screen at the location for where I'm taking off from, it crashes. So let's bring up a Navigraph here. Bring up. So it's got Lizzie 9A, 16 and 27 for runways, and 9 and 34. Well, I'm going to need a 27, so that's the one. So at Lizzie, then we need to be at her. We need to be at 9,000 feet. Where's next? All right, Lizzie. Okay, so it does. So let's type in 5,000 for that one. That probably adjusts the. I still got 100 miles until we need to descend, but yeah, it's missing one of the waypoints. It has at her on here. At her is at 9,000 feet. How do I plug in? Let me see if I can plug in a waypoint. Nope, not that way. Alright. Yeah, I don't think I can. I know how to create a waypoint like from here. Like if I wanted to do like 5 miles before Visa, you would type in Visa and then the 180 reciprocal of 251, so that would be 71 degrees. So you would type in VISAS 071 and then the /4, and then you would hit enter. But I don't know how to I don't think there's a way to plug in a new. I might be wrong. If somebody knows how to do that, put that in the chat or the comment. Well, not chat. There's no chat for this particular one, but put it in the comments. I don't really know how to do that. Like, there's no discontinuity or vector where I could use that line to input something in. I don't know how to input. Well, let's just type it in and see what happens. Just type in at. What's the worst that could happen? It's just a sim. We need to plug it in for Maddie. Let's type it in. database. Alright, well, that might explain why it's not part of our flight plan. Yeah, I'm looking right at it though. Alright. No big deal. Alright, so we're doing pretty good. We got 79 miles until touchdown. Fuel's doing okay. No reason to adjust anything yet. I like this livery, it's pretty cool. It's a pretty clean looking airplane. I like the red rings around the engine. I did a lot of these bush trips when I first started doing the simulator. So there's if you're not familiar with the simulator, there's some activities you can do like landing challenges, things like that. But they have these bush trips where they pick certain parts of the world and they give you like a single propeller plane or double propeller like the Diamond Air 62 or like I forget the starts with a B. Anyway, it's also in X-plane, I believe that. But anyways, they so you start off at like certain like a low airport, and then you fly like an hour, and then you land at another airport, and then the next leg starts, and there's usually like eight of those legs per bush trip. They have like a handful in Australia here, like all around. They have them in Sweden, Italy, Spain, Portugal, all of a couple of different spots in America. Now, some of them have navigation. Put it in the navigation and just let the autopilot take you. Some of those bush trips you actually have to follow what's on the ground. Like there's one that goes from California to Nevada to like Utah and then back into California, and that one there's no there's no autopilot available, no navigation, so you have to follow what's on the ground. So you have to read and look at pictures and read like where you're supposed to go. It'll say like past this highway and then like veer off to the right, and once you get to this mountain range, do this. So yeah, I like those bush trips. But my reason for bringing that up is I didn't do a lot of. I've been hesitant to do flights in Australia here like this, even though like the only time I can really do the simulator is at night, and unless I could always turn off real world weather and look at real time and do any flight I want to at that point. But I like flying with the real world conditions, so I'm kind of limited when I'm only doing this in the evening if I want to see this in the daytime. Like I said, at nighttime, I'll do a nighttime one next time, so whoever checks this out can see like how dark it is. But I didn't want to do too many in Australia because I did so many of those bush trips. I was kind of burnt out, but I don't think they have one from Sydney to Melbourne. So, and I usually try to do flights, somewhere around an hour in the air, hour and a half, just because. You've seen my videos. Almost every video I complain right before I transition to like the decline to the descent. I don't want to sit here for hours just looking at an airplane. Now, maybe I'll grow to like it with this simulator because it's pretty much everything on the ground is what it is in real life. So maybe I'll get used to it and do some longer flights here and there, but I also don't have a lot of time to do this as well. Single parent, I have full custody of 2 kids. I work full time, so I don't have a whole lot of time to do this. If I was streaming this as my job and this somehow turned into a way where I could support my family, then that's a whole different story. Then I can do it all day and do all different types of flights, things like that. But I'm so far away from that being a reality. That I have to work a real job during the day. insurance agent. A lot of cool little mountain ranges here. I actually like to do one over New Zealand. Oh, what's going on? What's going on?
Bank angle. Bank angle. Bank angle.
I didn't touch anything, I promise. Oh my god, the wind did. This is a first. The wind knocked out the autopilot. Jesus. I don't know what that means, CWSP. That is crazy that the wind knocked it out again. What the hell? I swear I didn't touch anything on the controller. I'm holding the controller, but I'm holding it like by the very bottom, like where just the plastic parts are. Like I'm not even anywhere close to touching a button. Wow, this really is a historic flight. Jesus, God Almighty. I don't know what that CWSP means though. If that's the real wind, 67, that is nuts. Boy, I wonder if that's like what the winds are like in real life in Australia, like unless it's just today. Wow. Alright, we got 32 miles till our descent. Let's set this up. So we'll program in, let's do 22.5. So VNAV. Wow. That was crazy. Just out here talking, looking at the airplane, all of a sudden the airplane starts wobbling and starting to lean. I don't want to see a gangster lean on this airplane. That's bad news bears right there. That airplane starts to tilt. It starts to keep on tilting. That's bad. I also don't really hear anything because I have the volume turned down on the TV. I have it on the laptop because it's OBS, but you know, I don't really hear what's going on with the sim either. Turns out that the microphone on my laptop does a much better job than my headset, mainly because I have a fan on, and there's so much fan noise hitting the microphone. And I also vape, and every time I vape, it was like super loud. I have to mute the microphone every time. So, but the mic on the laptop does a pretty good job. At least I think it does. All right, the plane looks like it's kind of stabilized right now. That's good. All right, our transition altitude is 11,000 feet. Is there a way to put that in here? I think it's under init, I think. Index. Performance. Yeah, there it is. So 11,000. Okay, that's done. 14 miles till descent. Might as well arm these right now while we're thinking about it. We got 109.3 and 109.3. Getting ready to hit Naba. We're going to be descending here momentarily. Hopefully this will be somewhat firework free. Hopefully we'll land alright. 6,050. Alright, that's all good. 263, 263. 109, 109. Alright, we're looking good so far. We're at 224. Let's put the right heading in. I can't believe that the autopilot has kicked off so many times. I mean, I've played this on the iPad. I mean, I have like hundreds of hours into this simulator this year, doing all kinds of planes. Now, I know this PMDG 737 is quite a bit more realistic with how some of the equipment works. However, I've never had an airplane have its autopilot kick off by not even doing anything, just the wind. Yeah, I was really trying to find a Southwest flight to do, but couldn't find a Southwest flight I wanted to do. There was one from LAX to Phoenix that was okay. Sacramento to Los Angeles, but I don't know. I didn't really want to do one of those. I was hoping to do one from like Dallas to Denver, or like Dallas to Albuquerque, or Dallas to Houston, something. But it was too late in the day and it was starting to get too dark. So the Atlanta airport, they actually did a really good job with, well, they did a good job with a lot of the airports, but the Atlanta airport, I mean, that airport's awesome in general. It's got like 4 or 5 runways next to each other, planes taking off and landing. I remember one time I was leaving the Atlanta airport, coming home from a business meeting when I worked for Audi, and there was my plane that I was in and 3 other planes. We all took off at the same time. It was pretty cool looking over out of the window to the right and seeing like 3 other planes taking off. But no, there's a Delta building, like the Delta headquarters building and all that down there. I think it's headquarters. But there's a big Delta building down there, and it's like exactly identical in the simulator here to what it is in real life. I thought that was pretty cool. I really wanted to do the flight from Atlanta to Orlando. I wanted to do that today. I just I couldn't get to this in time today. I had too much stuff to do in the afternoon, and then I had to figure out how to stream this, because you can't stream right to YouTube unless you have a capture card. So at first I tested it by streaming right to Twitch and then using OBS to capture Twitch and then streaming that to YouTube. But then while we were eating dinner tonight, my son's like, I got a capture card. You can just borrow it. Let's try that. So that's what we do. Got a capture card. Alright, so Bula, we need to be at 22.5, so let's put this down to 14.7. I don't really know how they do it in real life with plugging in these altitudes, but this is how I do it. If somebody knows how they do it in real life, you're more than welcome to put it in the comments below. We need to be at a max 230 knots at mate. Alright, so they got that in there, 230. 250 below 10,000. Yeah, that's fine. And 3,000 feet is the initial air fix. Alright, let's plug in the descent, the decision height. That's good. Let's redo approach. See what it says now. Yeah, see, it's gone down not because of the gross weight. Alright, that's good. Let's go back to descent. Now, if we were going to be doing an RNAV approach, more than likely I'd be in program right now. And in this last page here, because it'll gives you your vertical deviation, and then your RNP versus, like your I don't know how to explain it really, but the RNP kind of needs to be like quite a bit different than the AN, like actual. This is real nautical, I think, something versus actual, but usually it's like you type in like 0.3, how it says like 0.3 here, and I believe that's the width, like the error, the margin of error that you're allowed to have side to side from your like altitude that you're supposed to be. And if it's like 0.9, it's a bigger margin of error than 0.3. Some I've seen where it's like 0.11. That's a really small margin of error for your vertical deviation. See how it says 35 low, 35 high? It's because if you look here, we're a little low, which is what it says. So let's plug in this approach here. We can use that as a cheat method pretty soon, because this will show us so over here, when you click approach, this will bring up that vertical deviation, like the glide scope diamond that usually shows up in the display over here. So the diamond will show up here way earlier than over here. So you'll have a good gauge on where you're at. Farther out, you'll have a really good idea of what's going on with your, where you're at in ratio to picking up the glide scope. I know what I'm trying to say, but I don't know if it's coming across properly. But hopefully you understand what I'm saying. Boy, if I land this plane safely without crashing, it's going to be a miracle after everything that we've gone through so far. Wow, I didn't realize how mountainous Australia was. Like, I thought it was just like, from like the Road Warrior movies, Thunderdome, where it was just like flat. I mean, I know there was a couple mountains in there, but nothing like this. This is pretty. I wonder how tall those mountains are. I guess I can look it up on Navigraph. You can pull like the VFR charts for terrain. Now you can do terrain in this airplane too. By the way, if you click that, it'll bring up a scan of the terrain. You can program it to have blue for the water if you want. So I don't really know the purpose of this in the simulator, other than it just looks pretty cool. I know in real life, what it would, how it would help, but in here it doesn't like give you like how far you are, like it doesn't give you like like how tall the mountains are. Like it doesn't. It'd be one thing if there would be like a certain like a diamond there, or a star or something, and like a star meant it was above 1,000 feet, or anyways. Let's turn off that. Alright, so we're doing good so far with our descent. There's a decel point right here, Lizzie. There's a deceleration thing right there. We gotta go down to 257. Let's plug in 10,000. 200. That's we're right on point with Lizzie, it looks like. We're doing okay. Now, if you ever want to take over the thrust on your own, the speed, you can click on this speed intervention. Click on that, and then you can program what you want for your speed. You can do the same thing with altitude intervention if you know, are in like VNAV mode or something like that. And you want to plug in your own altitude. You can click that and then plug in your own altitude. Doing okay so far. So far, so good. Now, on the approach chart for, for the arrival chart, this waypoint here, this mate, or Maddie, however you pronounce it, it says you need to be between 5,000 and 9,000 feet at no more than 230 knots. But I just put it at 5,000. By that point, you're getting ready to transition into the aisle, into the last turn to the runway at that point. And there's not a whole lot of mileage left after you make that turn to really bring the airplane down to a good speed. So that's why I plugged in 5,000 instead of leaving it at the 9,000 B that it was before, the below 9,000. Alright, let's see, we're doing okay. So Tarex is coming up. I like this type of display here. It's like what they have on the A380 and the A320. See? Why? I plugged in 11,000. Why are you doing that? Why are you in yellow? It's not until 11,000 feet here. Still a little bit away from plugging that in. So you can see in the heads-up display. So that I changed it. So now there's a lot more area to show the runway. And then this now, since I have it programmed for the right length and the right height of the right elevation, it should, since I programmed it, it should put this right where the touchdown, like right where the touchdown zone is supposed to be. So I plan on letting the plane land itself. So I'm not really going to do much, but that heads-up display comes in really handy at times, especially landing the plane. It comes in really handy. Yeah, I'm gonna pause this for 1 second. I gotta excuse myself for about 45 seconds. Be right back. Alright. Wow. I was holding that in for a while. Good Lord. Alright. Sorry about that. Just holding it in for a little bit. Getting older certainly doesn't help. Makes it a little tougher to hold that stuff in. Alright, so currently the barometric pressure is 10-12. Alright, let's program in 5,000. Doing okay so far. No reason at this point to turn the spoilers on, you know, the air brakes. We're decelerating, we're descending. Right now the autopilot is earning its keep right now. It's handling this bird the way it's supposed to be handled. I'm gonna put this bird back in his cage. That's right. So I decided to do a live stream instead of my normal type of recording, just to give it a try. I like doing those normal recordings. They're fun to do. But it takes a lot of time to edit it. Periodically, it takes a lot of time to edit it. Also takes a lot of time to, you know, do my voice over everything else. So I wanted to try this live stream and see, you know, see how it goes. All right, let's do the switcheroo with this, and let's move it down one. That's not right, so let's go here where we can actually see it. Alright, 10-12. Let's move this in a little bit. Let's arm some spoilers. So we can descend a little bit. Alright, so far the plane's doing pretty good. There's times where I've had to do that speed intervention and program, you know, the speed myself. But it's doing okay so far. Let's hope it continues. Alright, so we got Maddie coming up. And we need to be at 3,000 feet for Visa. Oh, 2,500 feet for Visa. And Matku is, okay, that's where we're supposed to capture the glide scope. So we got VTAR. Alright, let's turn on some lights. Now, if you want to program a fix, you certainly can. Well, you know, maybe I'll do Where are we landing at? Runway 27. No, it's RW. Sorry. Alright, and we'll do 4 miles for the landing gear. And 10 miles for like flaps 5. What do I need to be at, Maddie? 230 knots. And then by Visa, we need to be at 185. Alright, well, it's got the right speeds programmed in. I don't really need to do anything. It's like armor spoilers, I guess. Alright, and let's program this. And we're on a pretty good trajectory right now. That's looking good. Let's check our VREF real quick for landing. Alright, that's still good. And we could probably turn on our localizer at this point. No reason to arm approach yet. We're still really far away from that capturing. Maybe I can turn the volume up a little bit so I can hear. It's really weird to fly without like hearing anything. But I don't know, like, if I have the speakers on the TV, I don't know if that's gonna like make the sound, you know, YouTube. Oh, you know what? I don't think it would actually. I just don't know if it's gonna like pick up in the microphone of the laptop and then create like this echo and all kinds of stuff. Like, I just don't want the sound to get messed up. But maybe it'll be okay. Alright, we're doing good. Let's move this down one more time. Alright, decelerate there. We need to be at 2,500 feet. Alright, there's the diamond there. Alright, let's program in 2,500. Actually, yeah, I guess we could program in 2,500. put down some flaps. So if that diamond wasn't showing up there, you can see how it shows up here because we have it in approach mode. Let's do the next setting of flaps. We got now A and B engaged, so we can do full out ILS landing. Alright, let's put some flaps down so we can oh yeah, that's really picking up the noise from the airplane. Right now it's not. Okay. We might as well program this for the correct altitude. That's about 1,600 feet. Let's move this down a little bit too. Make this final turn. Hopefully the localizer will grab soon. 109.3, 109.3, 263. Yep. Oh, there we go. Localizer is captured. Let's keep on lowering. There we go. Wide scope's now picked up. We got A and B. We are good. And we are 5 miles over VREF. It's got flare and rollout, so we are good. Flaps are all the way down. Oh, shoot. That was close. But yeah, you see how there's so much more room to see everything? Because we changed it to this IMC mode here. Come on, you bastard, you better land properly. After everything we've been through on this flight, do me a solid here, do me right. I don't mind landing the plane myself, but I like looking at all the scenery and stuff. I wonder what's over there, like those buildings. Unless that's some sort of industry. You know, like oil or something like that. Might check that out one day. This looks so cool. It's so cool how they were able to like get real world fauna and flora and just so cool.
200. 100. 50. 30. 20. 10.
Well, my friends, that's kind of it for the airplane show. You know, I don't usually like taxi. I guess I can do that next time, taxi to an actual gate and park and all that. I just don't know what gate this is going to, and this stream has already been like 2.5 hours, so I think we're just going to leave it here. So, thank you, my friends, for tuning in to the airplane show today. This is Greg, your internet pilot, signing off. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Please leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Until we see each other again, my friends, in the friendly skies above Mother Earth, this is Greg. Be good to yourself, be good to other people, and certainly be good to me, your internet pilot, Captain Greg. See you next time. See ya.